I think we are live. Yep, we are live. Right, good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone's having a good afternoon. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Please don't forget even to share, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Today, I must calm down a little bit. So I suffer with anxiety myself, man. And I don't know whether you get the same feelings before you go on podcasts or before you go on interviews.
Yeah, get a bit nervous.
A little bit jittery, and where I talk a little bit fast, sometimes I trip myself up. So I've got to learn to slow down a little bit, you know.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, that's just anyway, normal. It's normal. It's just nerves, isn't it, brother? It's fine, though, man.
Anyway, guys.
Innit?
Yeah. So anyway, guys, I'm going to bring my second guest in, and his name's Anthony Roberts. He's a great friend of mine. We speak to each other all the time. He's doing amazing things in the community. You know, he's got his own YouTube channel. I'll put a link to his YouTube channel in the description of this video after, guys. And we'll bring Anthony in and let us know a little bit about his background and where he come from, and you know, a little bit about his story. So welcome to the channel, Anthony. And
thanks for having me. Yeah, man. Well, my name's Anthony Roberts. I'm originally from northwest London, the Paddington area, the Edgware Road. Basically had a pretty shit childhood, a lot of trauma, a lot of abuse as a young person. Basically ended up going into the care system at a young age. Done about, I think it was about 12 years in the care system. See, the thing is, I was abused as a young kid, and then obviously I ended up my behavior fell off the rector. I literally went crazy as a young kid, and then I ended up going to these special institutes for like young little kids, mate, and I'd end up having madness there as well, getting restrained. And then obviously that behavior was repetitive, so I kept getting moved from this gaff to this gaff, and then I actually went into care when I was 6 years old. And that's not through that weren't through my mum's fault or nothing. That was through the social services. Absolutely fucking, they just fucked my mum over in a massive way. Do you know what I mean? And this is another reason why I'm doing the podcast today, because this is my way of explaining how the system works. So what they did to me was I experienced trauma as a young age, at a 3-year-old. My behavior changed straight away. I'd end up going to these special places, being restrained, being put in padded rooms. I remember a white padded room, being restrained in there by 4 men that pinned me down. And then obviously that went on for some years. And then at the age of 6, I ended up going into full care, and I went into a place called the Marbury Bush in Oxford, which was a fucking nut house, mate. It was in Stanlake, not too far from where I am now. That place was nuts, mate. I stayed there for 3 years. Lots of crazy behavior there, running away, mass runaways. I'd instigate. This is the mad thing, yeah. I would instigate all the kids. So what we'd do is we'd do mad runaways, bruv. So I would get all the kids, and I'd be like, let's run home, let's go home, yeah. And then what we would do is we would just we'd get 20, 30 kids together, and then we would just be gone. So then you've got staff chasing us. But obviously sometimes we'd get away. So we'd be out in the fields in Oxford, climbing over fucking like all sorts of shit, getting up to madness, just running away from the care homes. You know what I mean? That sort of shit. And then we got older, got kicked out of there because when I was 9 years old, I stole their car in the middle of the night, took that for a joyride.
Well, at this time when you were in these places, was you having any contact with your mum and your biological parents at this time?
Yeah, well, basically what it was, my mum, she was at the visits. She came to see me. She used to be at all the meetings and stuff like that. But obviously social services had their fucking grasp hold of me then, you know what I mean? And this is the thing, what they do, yeah, is they divide and conquer is what I call it, yeah. Now they got me away from my mum. That was dividing us. And then they tried to turn me on my mum. Say that again, brother.
So you've got 2 different types. You've got a residential care order.
See, the thing is, yeah, I was actually placed in there, but I was taken off my mum. But my mum had some right over me. Now the thing is, what I've done recently, I've gone to Westminster Social Services, yeah, and I've got all my paperwork. So my paperwork will be with me by the 5th of next month, yeah. And they've said to me, I spoke to them and I said, why is it taking so long? Wow. They said, your folder is extensive. She says you have 40 files, far exceeding 200 pages a file. And obviously, if you do the maths on that, it's around 8,000 pages. So that's a lot of pages of paperwork on myself. So obviously, I've never had access to this stuff before. I've got it in the post where it's coming to me soon. So I will have facts on everything, reasons why I went to care, what social services have on my mum, all of that stuff. You know what I mean? But I know my mum weren't to blame for any of this. You know what I mean? And the thing is, she done her best, mate. Honest to God, I can't. Like, she really did do her best, mate. And it's sad though, because you know, like the system, what they do is they take the kids off of the parents. And obviously, my mum she weren't like. You remember what it was back in the day? The old boys, they used to give their bird a slap and all that, innit? That's how it was, isn't it? You know what I mean? And that's. I know it's bad, innit? It's different now, obviously.
Things have changed so much.
Yeah, but back then, it was like that. You know what I mean? So, like, you see your mum getting beaten up by your stepdad and all that, it was normal, you know what I mean? So obviously she had to deal with that, and then she had to deal with the social services who were trying to break her family up and take her kids off her. And obviously, you know what I mean? And that's fucked up, man. And to do that to people, it scars the whole family, not just the people that it scars the kid as well as the parent, you know what I mean? So she tried her best, man, and I feel sorry for her for what she went through, you know, because she went through a lot, man. But at the same time, social services, that's their game, innit? You know what I mean? They take the kids, the family, they put them into the care home with me, like with what happened to me. As soon as I came into contact with social services, I started getting traumatized basically on a regular basis, because I'd be taken off my mum, put in these fucking places where they would restrain me, and then I ended up going into care. I remember moved up to, I went to Oxford first, stole their car, got kicked out of there, ended up going to, and bear in mind, once you're in these boarding schools, like where I was, the Marby Bush, I'd be getting restrained on a regular basis. So you're talking multiple people pinning down a little kid, and this went on, mate. Honestly, this is no joke, innit? That went on from the age of 6 up until I was like, well, I was still getting pinned down when I was getting wrapped up by the govs in jail. You know what I mean? So it's like it's been something that goes on throughout your whole life, especially in the care homes. But it started real young, you know. And then obviously, it does. You know that yourself, Joey. You know what I mean? You know exactly what it's like. So then that happened. Obviously, I ended up getting booted out, stole the car, crashed into a fence or some fucking fence up there in Oxford. Got moved. I ended up going to another gaff. Say that again, brother.
Like we do, smash the cars up when we
you know what I mean? It's just fun, and that's what happens. Yeah, it's mad. And then what happened after that was I ended up going to Kent, and it was the same sort of shit there. But I met one lady there, I met a lady there called Christine Gillespie. Yeah, she was the most loveliest lady I've ever met. And because I got taken off my mum at such a young age, the time I got to Chrissy, I was about 9, going on 10. Yeah? So I've not had any loving mum figure or nothing like that for many years. Yeah. So then I met Chrissy, and Chrissy was exactly like a mum. She was exactly like a mother. She was a lovely, lovely lady. To this day, I still speak to her. She's still beautiful, lovely family, you know.
Wicked.
And then obviously I spent some years with her, but then obviously my behavior, something bad. I got abused again. If your guys watch my podcast, they'll see the extent of it. I won't go too into detail today. I'll just stay over that. But I had some bad trauma there. So then my behavior become even worse, because I couldn't speak about things because I felt like no one would believe me, blah blah, all of that. Yeah. So then my behavior got even worse, and I moved from there and I went to London. The time I got to London, I was around the 13 age, and straight away I was into the London care homes, and I was staying in that place called 5 Claverton Street. It's directly opposite pedo fucking, you know, they call it Dolphin Square, pedo Parliament. It's it's that sort of gaff there. It's around there. That's all that. But all that shit was going on. So I used to run away from the care homes, and literally I'd run away and I would just steal out of cars. I'd sleep in cars. I was just steal to live, innit? You know what I mean? Like, obviously, where I'm running away from care homes and all that, I've got to feed myself. So that's where my criminal life started.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? And obviously, at that time, I weren't good with my mum. Me and my mum's relationship was pretty fucking bad. Me and her weren't talking. I used to always try and break out, like I'd break out the care homes, run away, and I'd run back to my mum. But
Right.
my mum's relationship was so messed up at the time because of obviously the years and years of craziness that I'd been doing. She didn't want me around, so I don't know if she knew that I was sleeping on the balcony. I think she did. But my sister used to bring out blankets and food and stuff like that, so I'd be warm and I'd have something to eat. So I'd sleep on the balcony. You know what I mean? I'd break into my mum's house and try and sleep under my sister's bed. My mum would find me and kick me out of the house and stuff like that. So yeah, that sort of shit went on. But that was obviously, she had her reasons for that. I don't understand that personally myself because I wouldn't do that to my kids. But
Right.
it was a bit mad. But I don't blame her for all the stuff previous to that. You know what I mean? It's just yeah, it's mad. It's mad. It's just, and then obviously my criminal shit started.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, and you know yourself how it goes, mate. You start off doing little silly things just to put food in your belly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it escalates. Obviously, you think to yourself, well, I ended up in going to jail. This is the mad thing about the first time I went to prison. It was for stealing a motor. Yeah, and I laugh about it now because it was to me, I was getting chased by the old Bill every day. So being chased by the police was nothing. It was nothing new in it. You know what I mean? We nick cars, go out, get chased. Yeah, and I used to love it. I did. I loved it. I honestly, when I look back at it now, it was the only thing that was exciting. You know what I mean? I wasn't really big in the alcohol then times.
Do you think
go on, brother.
Sorry for interrupting. Sorry, do you think like because of you had so much childhood trauma and you was in you've taken away from your parents, and then obviously later on your mother, you say your mother didn't want you,
yeah,
and then you got abused in care. So the people what are supposed to be looking after you and making sure you was all right was the ones what was actually abusing you. And they're the ones in the higher power in social services and in different children's homes. And they obviously they've got access to lots of different kids. So yeah. I believe if they was interfering with one kid, it wouldn't just be one person. There'd be so many others. And
yeah, of course.
You know, and because you were such a young age, I understand it would have been very hard to tell anyone and to
yeah,
you know, ask for help. And then as you got older, because you'd been in institutions anyway, like being in care, that's a part of an institution. So
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
By the time you'd got to a YC or DC or prison, you half knew what to expect because you'd been institutionalized from you.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So really, it might have been prison might have been a little safety net for you at that time, and that's why you didn't think like it didn't deter you from committing crimes, and the police didn't frighten you, and you used to get chased in cars and you used to like things like that because
it's exciting.
It was a savior for you.
Yeah, but do you know what I see it as well? It's attention. Because it was one thing I think I lacked was people. I lacked love for starters. Yeah, that was one of the big things I always craved. I craved the family unit. I craved to be wanted. I craved to be a part of something. You know, because I wasn't a part of nothing. When you get taken away from your mum at a young age, you're not a part of anything. You get whisked away. You feel abandoned. You're confused. You're like, why the fuck am I here? And my mum's with my brothers and sisters and all that. So, as a young age, that fucking really affects your brain, mate. And obviously that affects you later on in life. It affects relationships. You have problems trusting people over that. You know what I mean? And you have abandonment issues.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which these are things that are generally caused by people being taken away from their families. Now, don't get me wrong. If there's a genuine risk to a child, if a child is at risk, then 100% the social services need to get in there and remove that kid. As long as that kid is actually like, with my interactions with the SS, I call them, the interactions with them have never been positive. You know what I mean? Like even now, like when I come out of prison, this is no joke, innit? Yeah, I come out of jail, Joe, in 2015, and I met my missus, and I'd come out of jail. By then, I'd already made the change. Like I had I had my victim impact statement, which made me change completely. The way I've viewed crime, the way I've everything about it, I completely just dropped it out altogether. I didn't want to be like this. I didn't want to hurt anyone anymore. Yeah. So that happened, and then I come out of jail in 2015 with a completely different attitude. I met my missus. I told the probation that I'd met this woman, and that I've known her for a while, and that me and her are going to start a relationship. Now, I went to jail for robbery. I've never in my life been nicked for anything other than money motivated crimes. I've been financially motivated, or stealing a car or something stupid like that, or fighting. It's like just dumb shit, yeah, or it's been robberies, yeah. Now, I come out of jail and I've disclosed this information about I'm seeing this woman and I want to move in with her. And at the time, I was in a fucking Mapper hostel in Milton Keynes, yeah. And so probation have then told social services about me and her being together. Social, now bear in mind, this woman that I'm still with today, bear in mind, this is like 7 years later. They tried to treat her like she had done something wrong. And it was like she, and they're like, and then they turned around. This is no word of a lie, brother. Yeah, this is honest to God. The social services turned around to her and said to her, social services said that they didn't want me to be around the kids. I was like, why is that? And they said, oh, because you're being violent. I was like, mate, I've done a robbery. Like, I've never once fucking done anything like that. I'm not a fucking nonce, innit? And furthermore, you should be treating nonces like that. That's fair dues, yeah? Target them people all day, yeah? But I'd only been done for robbery, yeah. But with this is where they tried to fucking bring all their shit in, and they were saying, well, because I've got a fucking mad history, as in going back to my care history, they're saying I'm a danger to everybody, yeah. So anyway, my missus has turned around one day and she said to them, listen, well, my kids are going to my dad's for the weekend, their granddad, yeah. I want Anthony to stay with me. Social services said, nah, we don't want you to. Bear in mind, there's no kids in the house, yeah. This is no joke. There's no kids in the house, yeah, right. And I want my first weekend with my partner. You know, when you're in a hostel, you have to do like weekends. It's a slow progression thing before you can actually move out.
Yeah.
So we've abided by all their rules. Yeah, and then social services now are saying, now the kids are not there, but we still don't want you to stay at the house. Now my probation officer at the time was like, bruv, these lot are taking a piss. My mate, he's not my sorry, his name's Charlie, yeah. I won't say his second name, but a legend of a probation officer. And even he turned around to me, he said, these people are dogs. And that come from a probation officer, you know what I'm saying? So what the social services trying to do is not allow or trying to get into way of a family unit, yeah. And this is the problem, my brother, yeah. Like, even though criminals have a past, yeah, like we've all got fucking past, we've all done fucking things that we're ashamed of, yeah. We're all not happy with certain things we've done, but yeah, if man ain't a fucking nonce or nothing like that, then why are they trying to not give man a bit of hope? Having a family, having a wife, having a kid, having that is normal, yeah. So if you give an ex-offender the chance to be normal and have the normal things like everybody wants, then life is going to be good for that person if they can get that. When the social services and all these departments put things in the way to stop that, and I'll get onto that now again. So that's one situation. They didn't even want me to go and stay with the missus, yeah, even though we had followed all their rules. The missus has said, all right, the kids are going to stay at the granddad's for the weekend. They still tried to not let me stay there, which my probation officer was having none of, yeah. So then this is another situation, yeah. We then go to one of these meetings, yeah, because now social services, yeah, are doing, now the thing is, social services is a voluntary thing, yeah. It's all done through voluntariness. They don't have no grasp over anyone unless you're a danger to your child, yeah. Now, this is what happened, yeah. So we're at the meeting, yeah, and I got arrested for a crime back in the day, yeah, and I was never convicted of this crime. This crime involved a firearm, and it was a bad crime, yeah. It was like a robbery, yeah. I never got convicted of it, yeah. I got questioned and no further action. Now, I've got out of prison. Bear in mind, I've been in jail for 4.5 years after my big conviction. I do this meeting, this voluntary meeting, which is a fucking absolute farce. The whole thing was, yeah. I sat there and they turned around in one of these meetings and they said, does the police have any intelligence on Mr. Roberts? the police then turned there because there was a police liaison officer in the room as well with one of these meetings.
Yeah.
And this is all going on, bear in mind, just because I've got with a woman, yeah, that has not got a criminal record. And the only reason this is happening is because I went to jail for robbery. Yeah. Now, this is what I mean by the system puts things in the way to damage people and to make people not succeed. Yeah. But it's about biting your tongue and just going through the motions to get them off your case, isn't it? So this is what happens. So we sat there in the meeting, yeah, brother, yeah. And the old Bill, the police liaison officers, then turned around and said, yes, Mr. Roberts was is believed to have done an armed robbery, carrying an offensive weapon. Some people got tied up, that sort of shit, yeah. Now, bear in mind, I haven't been convicted of this crime. I was only spoken to about it. No conviction was ever done on me. Yeah, so that means I'm not guilty of that crime.
They shouldn't have brought it up.
That's right, bro. And yet they brought that up and was like, they tried to turn my missus against me. You know what I'm saying? Like to think, do you see what I'm saying? So it's like the system does all of that sort of shit. Anyway, so I had to deal with all of that, yeah. And then obviously this it's just, I don't know, it's just bullshit. And the whole lot of them, they just chat shit. You know what I mean? They do things to get in the way. You know what I mean? But I'm getting lost with my trailer thought now anyway, Joey, mate.
No, you're doing so well, Anthony. It's you know, to unravel them and to bring these stories up of your past is not an easy thing for anyone to do, especially when it comes to being abused in care and things like that. And to be honest,
that's what it is. It's a continuous abuse. And then it goes on today, bruv. Like the care homes today, like kids today are not being cared for properly. You know what I mean? Like,
because they had control of you whilst you was in care, Anthony. Like when you left care and you met your new missus and you're still with today, thank God, you know, you've met a woman who you loved and you love each other. But they tried to ruin that relationship, and that was the last bit. That was the last little bit of control that they had over you.
Yeah.
It's all about control.
Imagine this, yeah, Joey. This is how it was, yeah. I got taken away from my mum at a young age, yeah. Went through fucking hell, brother, yeah. Real shit I went through, yeah, as a young kid, all the way up from, it started at the age of 1, because my dad cut his throat when we were 1 year old. Me and my old man slit his throat and all that, and then obviously he's left. So it started then, yeah. So from the age of 1, just say, all the way up until I was say 13, being restrained on a regular basis, having madness, running away from care homes and all that. And then I get to London, yeah. I get to London, I start my career criminal wise, yeah. So then obviously I get into the care, I get out of the care system. I'm at 16 years of age now, yeah. I get out of the care system and I have no clue how to pay bills. I don't know how to fucking go shopping. I don't know how to fucking put on a pair of socks, mate. This is how I joke. This is no joke of it. I can't read and write, yeah, because I've been a runaway most of my life. Yeah, I don't know how to fucking, I literally didn't know how to do anything, mate. And
so Anthony, we're jumping forward a little bit, but do you know, like when you actually left care, did they not put you into like a halfway house and get what
happened? Yeah, I'll tell you what happened was they put me when I got out of Feltham. I went to prison when I was 16. I went to Feltham and for stealing a car. Oh, well, basically what it was, I nicked a car. My mate moved out to Essex, my friend Sam, and I went up to Essex to see her. But obviously I was in a stolen motor at the time. So I've gone driving through central London, and you know them, the red diplomat protection police. Well, they were driving a big red Vauxhall Omega back in the day, and they basically chased me through the heart of London, Paddington, fucking Oxford Street, Regent Street, Park Lane, the whole lot. I crashed into one police car outside Paddington Green Police Station, carried up the Edgware Road, end up going down Park Lane the wrong side, going up through Park Lane. Bear in mind, I was only 16 at this stage. First time I went to prison, crashed into, they've fucking put the stinger out, popped all my tires, and then I end up going to, end up getting nicked. They boxed me in, nicked me, end up going to Feltham. First time I got 6 months. I think I got 10 months, my first sentence, and I think I've done 6 months or something like that. And then I come out of jail, but I come out of jail and then it's straight into like a little hostel thing, like a little halfway house.
What wing was you on in Feltham? I was on Eagle, Anthony.
Oh, first, because I was only 16, I went to Bitten wing first, And then I got moved to Curlew because I was on basic. I went to basic straight away. And then from there, I went over to J-Wing. And then from then, I went to Huntercombe. And I was in Huntercombe for like 3 months or something like that. And I remember I was on Mountbatten B when I was in Huntercombe. Yeah, man. And then I got out of jail. This is the madness. I got out of prison and straight back at it, back at to being criminal again. And I got nicked again for nicking another car. See, you know, when I was young, I was just a reckless kid. I didn't think about consequences. I didn't think about the effect of crime on anyone. I just cared about doing what I wanted and getting away, getting money was all I wanted to do. And that's all I cared about, really. Didn't care about anything else other than cash. And then obviously I get nicked and I get bail. So I'm on the way to court one morning and I'm with my ex-partner at the time. And me and her are talking and I said it to her. I said, listen, if they try to remand me, I'm going to go mad, yeah? And I'm going to come running out of the courtroom. You'll see this, babe. Watch this, yeah? So me being a cocky little 16-year-old, I was like, right, little div, yeah? When I sit back, I think about it.
Lively.
Yeah, lively, like proper lively. And then anyway, I go into court. And I remember I was in Willesden Magistrates Court. And I was there now and I'm laughing at the judges. Yeah, and I'm not seeing these people as any way of having authority over me or anything. Yeah. So anyway, I'm cracking up. Next thing they said to me, right, remand him, as in to me, into custody, and they remanded my friend Chris into local authority. Yeah. So obviously I've jumped up, I've picked the chair up that I was sitting on, I've run at the jailer who was standing by the door, bust the chair straight off his forehead. Fucking, he's gone down. But I haven't knocked him out. Bear in mind, I'm only 16 years old at this stage. I haven't knocked him out completely. I've just dazed him. So he's gone down. I remember he's grabbed my bollocks. Yeah, this is no word of a lie. Yeah, I'm on top of him now. So what's happened is I've undone one door, gone through that door, and he's holding on to me. Yeah, through my grabbed me by my bollocks and my leg. Yeah, so I've dragged him through that door. Next thing, I'm undone the lock, and the only way I could get this guy off me. Yeah. This is no word of a lie. The only way I could get this geezer off me was put my thumb in his eye, yeah. So I poked him in the eye with the fucking thumb. I know it sounds terrible, man, but exactly how it was, yeah. He let go of me. Yeah, he's let go of me. I've opened the door and my missus was standing outside. I was like, I love you. And then he comes in. Crazy little kid. Yeah, I was like, I love you, babe. And that was it. Boom, I was gone. I got dragged back into the courtroom. And they've got me wrapped up on the floor, you know, when they got your arm behind your back and all that. And they got me arms behind my back, and I've seen the man's arm. So I've just bit into it. And I remember I was like a wild dog, yeah. I was literally like a fucking madman, yeah. And I've gone like made a growling noise and pulled my face away, and I had a bit of his t-shirt in my mouth. I was proper like it's fucking nuts, mate. I
shouldn't be laughing, but it's funny, mate.
Do you know what? You know, when I sit back now and I think about it, I was like a mental kid. Yeah. So then I get a hiding for that. I flung down the stairs, thrown in the cell. I'm in the cell now. My solicitor comes down and she's like, what the fuck did you just do? She was like, why did you just do that? You've just got yourself years. And I was sitting, I was thinking, fuck. I didn't know. I just...
At that time, you don't think about the consequences.
That's right, mate. That's exactly right. So then next thing I've ended up getting... this is no word of a lie, yeah. I was only in there for TDA. I would have probably got 4 months, yeah, no word of a lie, yeah, max. I've ended up getting nicked a week later for a Section 18 with intent, another Section 18 with intent, attempted escape from lawful custody, and that was it, yeah. And I was sitting there, I was thinking, fuck. And I said to my solicitor, because my original solicitor weren't allowed to represent me because she was in the courtroom, I've had to get some other solicitor. So he's represented me, and he's like, mate, you're going to get 5 years, 6 years. Yeah. You probably get 7 years, actually. And I was sitting, I was thinking, fucking, I'm only 16 years old. I'm going to get 7 years. And then anyway, I get it all dropped down and I end up getting 10 years. I mean, 10 months, 10 months, 10 months. So 3 counts of 10 months, yeah, which all run together. So I was fucking happy as Larry with that. I got out of jail. I got out of jail when I was and that was it. Basically just went into full-time crime whilst I was in prison at them ages. Obviously when you're in jail at them ages, you meet a lot of other criminals, didn't you? You know what I mean? Yeah, it's the college of crime. That's right, brother. And then you just start hearing of other people's stories. They're like, "Oh, what you in for?" And then he
Yeah,
says, "Oh, I'm here for doing this." And I was like, "How'd you get caught?"
yeah.
And
You
he
see,
was like, "Oh, I got caught like this." Yeah, bruv. And that's exactly how it all starts from there. And then
of
obviously you get
course,
out of jail, you're skint. You come out of prison with think it's 40 quid in your pocket or something like that. You've got no money. You ain't got no nice clothes because you've been in prison for the past fucking year. And
been
and
thinking
like
about crime for that past year while you've been in prison. You're thinking about what
exactly.
you're going to do when you get out and how you're going to get some money. You meet
Yeah, exactly.
new links in
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
Other
Exactly.
opportunities come up, and it's
Yeah.
very hard. It's very, very hard for all the viewers like watching this. It's very hard to break the cycle. And to be honest with you, it becomes more of an addiction than drugs.
Oh
Committing
yeah,
crime,
definitely.
you then
Yeah.
become addicted to committing crime because the prison is not a deterrent for you no more. Especially like when you've been brought up in care and things like that. So yeah, and then you meet new friends in jail, and
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
it's
how you
true. And you do.
that's how you climb up the ladder, Anthony, in jail. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's it. And the thing is, it's like when, like you said a minute ago, like when you get into jail, all you do is you think about what you're going to do when you get out.
Cool,
And I was
cool.
exactly the same as that. From a young age, I used to think, right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this. And then I get out of jail and I've taken all the information from all the lads that I'm in jail with. And then you put that in together with your own thoughts. And then obviously you see stuff in the telly, you see all these gangster films. And then
Yeah,
obviously because I've come from nothing, literally, I'm not kidding. I literally come from nothing, mate. Like I left home at a young boy's age. Even though my mum was still there, I didn't have anything financially. All my family, like no joke, my family don't. None of my family are wealthy. Like you know
right.
what I mean. My mum weren't born into wealth. You know what I mean. None of us were rich. You know what I mean. In fact, none of us had any money at that stage. You know what I mean. So it's like when you get older, you want nice things. And the
Of
thing is,
course.
I always wanted nice things for my kids as well. I wanted to give my kids decent stuff, and I wanted to make sure my mum was all right. You know what I mean? So I'd come out of jail and I'd be straight back at it, literally. And it's hard to then go and get a job because at that stage, to this day, I still can't read and write. I can read properly, I just can't write properly because I'm dyslexic, and I'm 36. You know what I mean? So like,
It's nothing to be
it's
ashamed of, though, Anthony.
I'm
It's the
not
way
ashamed.
that
Yeah, I'm
not.
not ashamed by it at all, brother. Do you know what it
Um,
is? It's just it is what it is, isn't it? It's just one of
I
them
mean,
things. I've got a brilliant
yeah,
missus that helps me with all of my writing, so I write it and then she just corrects it. You know
you
what I
know,
mean? So
you was just a kid at that time, and you wasn't shown how to read and write. So obviously, it's not your fault at all. It's not like
yeah, it's true.
they was trying to teach you how to read and write and put you on the right pathway.
It's true.
Yeah,
And you know what it is as well? Like, obviously, this is what I think, like, obviously, like with the current situation now about all the gangs and the stuff like that, obviously, where I was, like, my mates, yeah, like my pals, like, where the family life was so bad, I used to run away a lot, yeah. My best friends were my family were my mates,
of
you
course,
know what I
yeah,
mean? And obviously, my mates were like, and I still, my best memories of my life are with my friends. You know what I
yeah,
mean? I'm not saying all of my memories are crime, but like and this is what I understand about the boys, the gangs, and all that on the street. There's nothing for them to do out there at the minute. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
it's mad. Like me and my pals and all that. It's like when I was running away from the care homes, like my mates would let me stay in their houses. I'd stay at
yeah.
their gas and all that. But obviously the police would go looking for me there as well. Do you know what I mean? And it was just it's repetitive. You know what I mean? But all of that shit. This is what I'm trying. You know, with the families of today, like this, the women splitting up and the husbands splitting up, and then you know what I mean. It's like if the families try and stay together, like then you're not going to have this next generation ain't going to be fucked up like our lot. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
everybody I know, all their dads have broke up with their missuses and all that. So it's like all my pals, they had the same sort of child as me. Our dads didn't care. I'm not saying all of them were like that, but
I'm the
you know,
same.
yeah, you know what I mean? And look at how our lives have been, bruv. You know, things if we can make the generation, that's why like what I'm trying to do now is obviously a lot better. I'll get into that a little bit later. But at the minute, it's like when I look at the world, you've got all the gangs at the minute running around the streets stabbing each other, yeah. Now I understand why the kids have got weapons on them. They've got weapons on them because they're scared of everyone else having weapons. It's common sense, isn't it? But like if I don't know. I'm getting carried away, mate. I'm getting carried away.
No,
I'm going on a
you're
different
not,
subject.
you're not, Anthony. The thing is, when I first went to prison, it was a little bit different because you had a thing called detention centre.
I was there,
And
yeah. Yeah. I felt them.
yeah, DCs, and if you could get through detention centre, that really, you know, it helped you in later on in life on your career. Do you know what I mean? Because it was so hard in there, and we got physically abused by the officers and beat up on a regular basis every other day. So
Yeah, I remember.
vicious circle. I come
I
out of
remember.
Send, and then I went straight to Aldington, and I come out of Aldington and I went straight to Hasler. So I'd done 3 DCs, and it was the same for me. It wasn't a deterrent for me, and
Yeah,
actually, it's the place where I felt really comfortable.
yeah,
And the guys what I met in jail, as you said earlier on, Anthony, I took them on as my family, and that we actually got to know each other better than our own families did, because where
yeah,
we spent so much time with them, and you know, under the same roof all them years.
yeah,
And this is with the gangs today, you know, grooming, you know, it's all about grooming. You know, you've
yeah,
got elders running county lines, and
yeah.
they're using the 13-year-olds and 14-year-olds to hold their
To
guns
how
and
they shit. Yeah,
their food.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's absolutely despicable, isn't it? What's going on in the
Yeah,
world today?
Matt, do you know what? Do you know what it is as well, though? Yeah, it's obviously things are different to what they used to be. Like one, and like I know, like I'm not, I don't hate that old bill in it. I know, like I'm not a hater of the police, and I know they had a job to do. I know the reason why I went to prison was because I was doing bad things, mate, and at that time I deserved to go to jail because I was doing bad things. But what the police, I think personally, yeah, if we didn't have a police force, we'd be fucked. It'd
Oh,
be fucking like Mad Max. The world would be insane. You know what I mean? So we do need them. But what we do need, I think, is more bobbies on the beat, mate. Because when I was younger, as a kid, there was more cops on the street, as in
yeah,
walking around. You see the 2 bobbies walking around, and they would know everybody. Like that old Bill would actually know people. So that would sort of deter, I reckon, kids from carrying knives. But at the same time, like if everything, like you've got all the music's all violence. It's all about trapping this and trapping that and shotting this. There's no respect for women in none of that music. There's no one selling that they love their missus or they love their mum or they love their brothers. It's all about shit, like break up this, kill that, fucking cut that, sell these drugs. It's not positive, you know what I mean? So that obviously the kids hear that, and obviously
definitely.
they want to imitate that. And you know what? Kids are like mirrors, innit? They copy everything.
That's their
They
role model.
literally do.
Looking up as role models to them rappers, yeah.
Yeah, mate. So it's like obviously things for things to change. I think people need to start like the music. I'm not saying like I don't get me wrong. I listen to some of the music. I just don't agree with some of the shit that they're putting out with. But a lot of it is it's all violence, 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 violence. Where the kids want to outdo each other. So if you got one guy getting stabbed 10 times and that little gang get away with it, you want this other little geezer's like fuck that. I'll stab him 12 times. Do you know what I mean? And they want to outdo each other all the time, which is. It's fucking mental. That's why when like a few weeks ago I went to a charity event. Ben Spam was there. His charity was there. Change of Life. And I'll tell you who else was there. It's all-purpose charity. Chris Lambiano was there and a couple of other guys. And it was for 2 guys that exactly the same thing. 2 guys got stabbed to death, man. And it's all avoidable. Man. You know what I
Awareness.
mean? Yeah. But it all stems back from the beginning, I believe, Joe. You know what I mean? I do. I believe like people like ourselves. Like all of our criminal, like my criminal history, my whole criminal path started because of a messed up beginning, and I do, you know what I mean. And obviously, then when I went into criminal world, obviously because I weren't capable to work and I didn't know how to get a proper job.
Yeah, that's all you knew.
Yeah, and then obviously you want to become better at everything you do, don't you? Do you know what I mean? And then what?
So at what age did you was the turning point for you, Anthony? If we skip forward a little bit, what age did you decide to turn your back on everything and start a fresh life and settle down and be
Fresh
the
life.
person you are today?
I started. Well, I'll tell you what happened. Yeah, my robbery, yeah, involved a woman being robbed in one of my robberies. Yeah, it was actually a property developer's house we was going to rob. We was going to rob the safe. The woman got robbed instead. Yeah, and her statement actually, by the time I heard her impact statement, Joey, yeah, I just literally I felt sick, mate, because
Right.
she obviously I've been abused loads, mate, yeah, and she said when she got turned over and her jewelry was removed off of her and all that and was trying to get into the house, yeah, she said she thought she was going to be raped, bruv, yeah, and this is what makes me sick, bruv, yeah, I hate talking about it, but I have to talk about it because you know what? This is the point. This is that pivotal moment that made it my full time. I was a career criminal, mate. You couldn't get much more criminal than what I was. And hearing her impact statement completely turned it off. Like, never again do I want to be like that. And I was only 26 at that time.
So you've always got emotions type of thing. You're not one of them persons where you're cold-hearted. You've got no feelings. You've got no emotions. It sounds to me.
I was just traumatized, mate. Yeah, and you know what? My heart was always good, and this is the thing. Like my friends and all that say it to me. They said, "Ant, mate, you're like you weren't a bad guy in it. Like you're not a bad bro in it. You did some bad things, but like the thing is, like I'd go out and rob whatever money, and I'd give most of it away, mate. I would. This is no joke. It's like I was trying to buy people's approval. I was trying to buy people's love. You know what I mean? I look back at it now, and I relate that to childhood trauma, being taken away from your mum, being taken away, being picked up and put somewhere else. It affects you, you know, and that is why I committed crime. Yeah, it's a mental thing, isn't it? It's actually a mental thing. And that's the thing at the minute, like, and I'm starting, and the thing is, because I'm training, this is mad, yeah. My journey's been insane, bruv. Yeah, I'm now being trained by Karina Hutchaboot. I don't know if you've heard of her.
I've heard. Yeah.
Right now, Karina, she wants. I started doing a bit of work with her. Yeah. Now me and her, she's actually gonna train me to become a fully qualified therapist, brother. Which, because of my childhood, it's banging, mate. And obviously, it's a transformation. And this is what I mean. Like we all have a journey to lead, innit? You know, we all go through shit in our lives. And then there's certain times in our life that things can change for us. We can all go in directions. And I was luckily enough, and I know this sounds mental, mate. Yeah. I was luckily enough to understand my victim's pain, if that makes sense. I was lucky to understand how I made her feel, because I felt exactly how she felt throughout my whole life, which made me change completely. Which made me then feel like that actually, this is never what I intended. This is why crime is a fucking mad thing, mate. And the ripple effect is a crazy thing as well, because like you might be thinking, oh, I only want to get that money. I might just grab that money and get out of there. But at the same time, the fear you're putting in that person is unexplainable. You don't know what you're going to make that person feel like, which is damaging for them.
But at that time when you're going through that, and you don't really think about the victim as in such.
No, of course.
It's not
that's
until
right. What I mean, it takes later. It takes it with myself. I was cold in it, mate. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. See, when I was younger, you have to turn off your feelings.
Of course.
And that's what I did. I turned my feelings off, literally just shut them down, and I wouldn't allow myself to feel for nothing. But then when I read that impact statement, it's like it opened all the doors, and then I started feeling everything. And I've like the things that I feel bad for my criminal past, mate. You know what I mean? But if I could, like, my victim
about it, because
it's survival mode, you know.
Yeah,
and it is.
I mean, that's all you knew at that time.
Yeah,
you know, now you're clean and you haven't committed no crimes. It's only now you've got loads of remorse and maybe a little bit of PTSD too. What I've got.
That takes years of training of the mind and having a normal existence. You know, once you come away from that circle, it's reprogramming your brain, isn't it?
That's exactly what it is. Reprogramming your brain, which is not an easy thing to do.
No, it's not. It's very, even now in certain situations, I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah, when certain situations arise in my life now, for a second, I pop back and I'm like, yeah, all right, let's plate up the car. Let's go and get him. And that pops into the head straight away. Even today that happens. But obviously that is your old mind trying to trick you back into that world, you know, and that's what you got to shut off. And that's being in a position now where I'm able to do that. And I've got things around me that are more important than anything else, like my kids, my children. Like, for instance, I've never been able to have a proper family home, even though I craved it my whole life, Joey, bruv. And now I've got it. I've met an amazing woman who's actually made me better by far. She's given me the opportunity to get my dream, and that's to have a family, have my own kids, and be a productive person in society, bruv. You know what I mean? Which is good.
You for what you are.
Exactly, and she understands me.
She loves you.
And I think it's me and her. the thing is, yeah, this is the thing, yeah. My partner, yeah, she's pucker, mate, and me and her are working together. So my missus is actually training to be a criminal psychologist as well as a therapist. You know what I mean? So not a psychologist, sorry, a criminal. What the fuck?
Psychology,
Yeah, it's one
criminology,
of them. Criminology or something like that, which she's doing as
criminology.
well, which is yeah, and then she's working with Corinne as well, which is even better, you know.
So
So
you're bouncing off each other. Then you're
yeah,
feeding each
and
other. You're
yeah,
feeding
and
each other positive
well,
vibes.
that's it. And
No
the aim we're
negative
going
stuff, all positive.
is positive, mate. Honestly, that's the best thing about things at the minute. We've actually managed to spin it around where we're in a sense where we are now able to go in a direction where we are gonna help. The speciality that I want to go down is I want to go and help people that have suffered exactly the same shit that I've suffered. I want to help people that have dealt with mad trauma, sexual abuse, violence, all manners of abuse. I want to be able to help people get through that in a professional way. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm training now to do, which obviously is brilliant. But I feel like I need to do this, yeah, Joe. I'll tell you why, yeah, because when I was younger, I committed a lot of crime and I've done a lot of taking, bruv. And I took a lot and I fucking done a lot of bad things and I feel a lot of heavy shame for the way I behaved, even though I was only in survival mode at that time and I only knew what I was doing. I thought I was doing what was right for me.
Of
So
course.
I did what I did. You know what I mean? But because I now realize that I was such a fucked up little kid, I want to try and give back and I want to help people that exactly the same way that I was, because I got out of it and I know exactly how to help other people get out of it. And
Yeah,
I
I mean,
think
knowledge. I mean, experience outdoes knowledge all the time, Anthony. It's
100%.
like when it comes to drug counselors and peer mentors. I mean, recently I was sitting in front of a counsellor, and they'd done a few years, studied it, and they was just about to qualify. And you know, as I was talking to him, I noticed him looking at the computer, and I was asking him a question, and he's looking at the computer. And as I cut a long story short, as I come out of there, I said to myself, do you know what? All he knows is what he's learned off of a computer.
Yeah, it's a computer. That's right.
Knowledge,
Yeah,
experience is so much
experience is key.
better.
Yeah,
Experience,
exactly.
you'll make such a good person in
A
whatever,
better person
yeah,
and
in
helping
whatever work
people.
of field you go, whatever you do,
Yeah,
you'll dedicate yourself to it, and you'll
yeah,
throw yourself into it, because you
yeah,
know that's the type of person you are. You're built like that, Anthony. Do you know
yeah.
what I mean?
And you know what it is as well?
I'm sure you'll become very successful in
I
whatever
believe.
you're doing.
Do you know what it is as well? Yeah, it's obviously, you know, when you're younger, there is no light at the end of the tunnel, mate. And this is
No,
the
there is
thing.
not.
Yeah? When you're younger, you do not see an end to it. And you've got a lot of kids that are really fucking messed up, man. And
Mayhem.
when I was younger, mate, honestly, I've been having therapy done to me, bro. This is no word of life, from the age of about 3 years old, mate. Literally, I don't know if it was that young, but it was. I remember having therapy done to me as a young child, yeah. And I had that all the way up until I still have therapy to this day. I speak to a therapist, you know what I'm saying? Because it's good to talk. And that is, honest to God, I believe talking is the most important thing. If you can sit there and you can express yourself through talking or art or any sort of, if you can express yourself and release shit that's in your mind, yeah, then it will stop you from going mad. And that's what it
Yeah,
is. Being able to communicate, understanding things is important, you know. And kids, they don't understand much. And when they've been
no,
traumatized, they only understand pain and they're confused. So helping them get through that, it will. I want to go heaven when it's my time, brother. You know
of
what I
course.
mean?
I mean,
And I have to help the world. I know it sounds a bit mad, but I'm gonna try anyway.
yeah, touching on kids, Anthony. When I was a kid, there was quite a lot of respect for elderly people, and I've noticed
Yeah,
nowadays quite a lot of that
sorry.
respect is gone.
Yeah,
Like if we see an elderly person crossing the road, you know, we'd help that elderly person across the road. If we see a blind person walking down the street in trouble, we'd stop and help that blind person.
yeah,
You know, if we was on a bus sitting down and a
yeah.
pregnant
You get
lady
up.
or
Yeah,
an elderly lady
yeah,
get up, you'd get up for them.
yeah,
But
yeah.
now,
Not no more.
I mean, I blame a lot of it. I blame a lot of it down to the police, to be honest with you. They've made the younger generation violent,
Yeah,
completely different how we was brought up.
yeah,
With no
yeah,
morals, no respect, no solidarity. There's this, you know.
And you know what it is as well, because the police,
Bobby dog, Anthony, and it's
it
a
is.
shame. It's a shame. You know, there's
Do you
not
know,
as many community centres. There's not as many youth
right?
centres. There's hardly nothing out there for youngsters nowadays, and a lot of them, you know, have been groomed by older people, you know, and
Yeah,
they go into
yeah.
drugs, and it's all
It's
stems
it's a
from
it's a combination of things, isn't it? Really, if you think about it, you've got all the older lot that are being scumbags and prying on the younger lot. Yeah, that's what's happening in the streets. And then you've got everybody look at the police like they're the
we've
enemy.
lagged out.
You
And
know what I mean? Because they act like the enemy. You know, when they come in being vicious and violent, you see a lot of things on the telly where the police are just brutalizing people. They like, I'm not saying the police are bad. I'm not saying all. There are some bad cops in the police force. I'm not saying all of them are bad, but the way they deal with things today is not like back in the day. You used to have the Bobby on the beat. Like me personally, like if you had an issue, like say for instance, you had the same Bobbies, the same team of feds walking around the same manner, patrolling it on foot. They talk to their community. Everyone gets to know each other. Do you know what I mean? The police like. And when it nowadays, there's none of that. When they're jumping out the car, they like stop and search. They're
of
not.
course,
You know what I mean? It's different. It's the whole lot. I remember when I was younger, the police didn't used to do stop and search like they did nowadays. Like we
no,
still get
no,
stop
no.
and search, but it weren't as bad as it is today. And like I don't know. To be fair, it's a lot of reasons why society is the way it is today, isn't it? You've got obviously a lot
Yeah,
of broken homes to start with, yeah, and then you've got a lot of criminals like encouraging other criminals. You've got rap music, trap music, encouraging lots of young people. You've got mainstream music that's on radio, whatever, yeah, encouraging people to sell crack. Like
yeah,
that is
yeah.
crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like
Crazy.
that's mad. And then people wonder why, like, why their kids are acting fucking like why their kids are now getting involved in the
Everyone's
drug
gone
game.
mad.
Yeah, it's mad. I remember back in the day you wouldn't even allow tits on the telly before 9 o'clock at night or a certain swear word. Now you've got
Yeah,
mainstream madness every day. You know what I mean? It's the world is just a fucking it's just gone mad, isn't it? But it's people like us and the small minority of people that are getting together to try and bring a change, isn't it? That's all we can do, really, isn't it, bruv? Can you hear me?
yeah, yeah. I can hear you. We lagged out a little bit, Anthony. So it broke up a little bit there. But we're back together again. I did hear parts of that. But I know where we're going. I know where we're at. We're talking about the youth and
Yeah,
the police. You know, even when it comes down to the riots recently, well, going back, was it 2000 and do you remember the
that's when I
riot?
got 2011, I think the rights were, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, there's the youngsters wasn't scared of the police. The police were actually backing off and running away from the youngsters.
Yeah.
You know, me and my missus was living in Croydon at the time, and we was driving through Croydon in the heat of the moment of the riot.
Oh yeah.
And I actually got out of my car and I parked up in the middle of the road, and I got surrounded by, no joke, it must have been 20 youngsters surrounding me, thinking
Wow.
thinking I was the police. I was with my missus, and I actually
Wow.
jumped out, and I said to him, I said, look, listen, I'm not the police, I'm one of you guys, yeah, but I'm trying to help you.
Trying to get home, like.
I'm trying to explain to you, do not go burgle that shop, do not burgle this shop, because it's all CCTV'd up, and later on you're going to get arrested.
Yeah, and that's what happened though. Dumb kids run and got. I think they got like 5,000 people got nicked over that, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, a few of my mates' kids got put into prison for it.
Yeah, a lot of people went jail for that, man. I remember I was in prison when everyone started coming in. I was in Scrubs at the time. I was in Wandsworth first, and then I went to the Scrubs because I had a case. I had a case on in the Scrubs, but I had my robberies was in where were they? My robberies was in fucking Kingston Crown. That was it.
Oh, yeah, I know Kingston.
Flying Squad, isn't it? Yeah.
There's a judge there. Do you remember a judge there? And if you go in front of this judge for burglary, he gives like 10. He gives 10 years upwards. I forget his name, but apparently his house got burgled, and the burglar shit on his bed.
Wow.
So,
DNA,
yeah.
innit?
So yes, well, no. Every time anyone goes up in front of him now for a burglary, because of like his house got burgled, he smashes them. Yeah, I think he's retired now, but
wow.
Yeah.
Horror stories, man. Just don't get nicked, innit? Don't do it. That's why. Do you know what it was? Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Yeah, I remember this feeling. Yeah, I remember when I was being sentenced. Yeah, I was in court, This is when we got nicked, yeah. When I got nicked for the, because what happened was this. I'll explain it to you. When I was with my mate Nick, yeah, who's still in prison, by the way, not for the same crime that we actually did together, but something similar, yeah. What happened was, me and Nick decided to rob bank, yeah. That's what we wanted. We wanted to rob a bank. We wanted to be famous, yeah. This is no joke here. We wanted to hit the papers, and we wanted to be, we wanted to just be like what we seen on the telly. Like we just wanted to be like heroes, and we wanted to get money, yeah. And we decided to go and rob a bank, yeah. And this is mad, mate. Honestly, we then decided, right, we're gonna wear burqas, yeah. We're gonna wear burqas to do this bank, yeah, because it makes sense. If we do a burqa, if we rock in the burqa, one, you can't see our faces. Two, it's quick to take off, and you blend in. I mean, so we thought, where can we get burqas from? So we thought, right, we'll go to a mosque. And because we're from the Edgware Road, we went to Regent's Park Mosque. Yeah. Now I laugh about this, yeah, because I do see the funny side of everything. Yeah. I don't see the racial side in it or anything like that. No. Yeah, it's just madness. People think that, but this is exactly what happened. We've gone into the gaff, and I paid 80 quid, yeah, for my whole dress. Yeah, my hijab, I think it's called. Yeah. So me and my pal Nick's bought one, and I bought one. So we're in there and we're trying them on to see if they fit us and all that, and the head veils and all that. So we put them on, and next thing, Nick's like, "Do you want to wear them out?" So come on, we'll just wear them now. So I was like, "Really?" I was like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah, come, it'll be fun, innit? Because obviously we're just, you know, when you're young,
it's fun, yeah.
Fun thing, it's exciting, and that's we're not thinking of anything. We're not thinking of consequences. We're not thinking of anything other than." This is hilarious, yeah. That's what we're thinking, yeah. So anyway, we're leaving the gaff now, yeah. We leave Regent's Park Mosque, and I'm walking out the main door, yeah. And Nick's big, yeah. Nick is like 6 foot something, yeah, but he's a big lad, yeah. He's big, like, yeah, he's a big boy, isn't it, yeah. So then anyway, we've walked out, and I'm shorter than him. I'm about 5'9", yeah, but I'm stocky built, but he looks bigger than me. So the first thing the geezer is going to go for is the smaller guy, isn't it? That's right, yeah. So he comes from me, yeah. Yeah, so I've got him, and I've fucking dropped him, flung him down now, and I've run off, yeah. But as I've come running out of the mosque now, yeah, the guy, security, is on the floor, and he's shouting at the top of his voice, "Stop them!" Holla, blah, holla, like shouting out loads of shit, yeah. So then there's a whole crowd of people outside the mosque, mate. I'm not kidding. There must have been at least 200 people out there. There was lots and lots of people. So next thing, me and Nick are running. Nick's gone that way. My car's directly across the road. I've got all these geezers chasing me now, yeah. So they're all chasing me. I've gone across the road through the traffic, like jumping over bonnets and all that shit. Got into my car, locked the doors behind me, like literally locked, because the lock thing was on the door. I've quickly locked the door, and obviously, you know, where your adrenaline is rushing. I was shitting it. I knew these people were going to kill me if they get hold of me. I've just come running out of Regent's Park Mosque in a burqa. Security's on his ass. It's bad things are going to happen, yeah? So anyway, I've jumped in the car and I've tore off out of there. Got people fucking flying over the car and all that. It's mental, yeah? So then I get back to Lisson Green Estate, yeah? Pick up my mate Nick. And we go down to Kilburn High Road. We know the van's going to be there roughly a certain time. So we go there. The van's pulling up. We've gone in there. And the thing is, I had my whole shit on. I had the whole fucking veil on. Nick had the whole veil on. And this is the maddest thing about it. We've parked the car up on the corner beside the bank here, walked into the bank while the geezer's doing his runs back and forth. And there was 2 Muslim women in front of us, fully burqa'd out already. They was already wearing burqas. Yeah. So it was like, I laugh at it, mate, because you know what? Yeah. It's just, I don't know. It's just one of them moments in your life, isn't it? You know, when you look back of it, it was like meant to be.
Like that. You couldn't write it.
Yeah, you couldn't write it, honestly. Yeah, so that's happened now. Yeah, we're in there, and this chick, she's obviously clocked me and Nick. Yeah, dressed in the same clothes as her. Yeah, so she's gone out, phoned her husband. This is what she said in the papers. Yeah, in her statement, she's phoned her husband and was like, "Babes, are they supposed to wear the same clothes as us?" And he's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it." So she's gone back into the bank with her sister or whoever she was with. And I'm there now, yeah. And we're behind them 2, yeah. So you got the guy doing his runs back and forth. And he spotted us 2, yeah. And in his statement, he turned around and he said, "I just thought they were real ugly chicks, yeah." That's in me and my mate, yeah. So I was like, I didn't realize all of this until I got the paperwork, obviously. But then, anyway, the geezer's there, and obviously he's putting the money in the chute, isn't he? Yeah. But obviously he's got to open the box first. So he's opened the box and I've grabbed him and I didn't hurt him or nothing. I just grabbed him and threw him across the bank. Yeah. My mate grabbed the money and we run off. We get in the car, we go away, we get away from there. Five minutes, it's over. You know yourself how that goes. Yeah.
In and out,
So,
in and out.
yeah, literally in and out, and then we get up the road, and I dumped the car. I fucking put my whole Muslim dress on in a fucking I think I put it behind a bush or in a dog. No, it was in a dog bin. Yeah, and they fucking found it. The police have found the car, searched the whole area, looked in the dog bin, and found my freaking dress. Yeah, so obviously they got the DNA off of my veil because my spit, saliva, and talking and whatnot. And then they had a picture of me walking into the mosque. Picture of me and Nick, so we are fucking doomed anyway. Yeah, so we get Nick for that. But this is the mad thing about it, yeah, we go on a run. Yeah, obviously the police have gone to my house. Yeah, so my missus just phoned me and said, look babe, burglary squad have been to your house, to the house. And I said, listen, yeah, there's no way in a million years, yeah, that burglary squad are going to come and give you a card and tell me, yeah, you need to hand yourself in and come talk to us. It won't work like that. I said, that's robbery squad seeing if I'm in the building or something like that, looking around. Yeah. So now, obviously, I know I'm fully wanted. I've said to my mate Nick, I said, Nick, we're wanted. Do not be on foot at all. Make sure you're on a moped, in a car, or on a bike or something, but make sure you're not walking down any pavements in the manner, yeah? And he's like, no, they ain't been to my house yet, and they ain't been to my house. The next thing, Nick's been nicked. Bang. I get a fucking phone call saying, oh, Nick's just had a mental police chase on foot in the Edgware Road. He's been nicked. Anyway, he's been nicked. He's managed. This is the maddest thing about it, yeah? He's been nicked. So I've linked up with a couple of my friends, and that was it. I flew out to Cyprus the next day, bruv. Like, and this is the joke of it, yeah. I got to Heathrow, and it was Heathrow, yeah. I got to Heathrow Airport, and I got there, and I fucking, mate, I remember the fucking old Bill was walking around with all the dogs and all that. I was thinking, I'm gonna get fucking birded off here. Like, I'm wanted for, I think it was 2 or 3 banks at this stage, yeah. And I'm thinking I'm fucked. That's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I'm fucking totally fucked, mate. Go on, innit? So anyway, I managed to get through customs and all that. I've get the bird my boarding pass and my passport, but I'm literally shitting my pants. I'm off my nut as well, yeah. Fucking, I've given them my pass. I've just walked off. So here's my documents and kept it moving.
Let's go.
You know what I mean? I'm on the plane. Next thing, this bird's come. She's got 2 geezers behind her, and she's gone, "Are you Mr. Roberts?" And I've looked at her, and I was thinking, "Oh, it's over, innit? It's over." She's gone, "No, here's your boarding pass, your passport." I was like, "Fuck!" So then I get out of the country. I end up getting to Cyprus, and I had a lovely little holiday out there. But you know what? I miss my missus, man. I miss my bird so much, mate. I spent most of the time on the phone to her, and I couldn't even enjoy the holiday, even though I was having it was a fucking nice holiday. I was out with my friends. I'd never been on holiday before. It's the first time I'd ever left the country.
And the first time too.
Yeah.
So that's why you was missing her, because that was at that time. That was the first time you actually probably ever felt love in your life.
And that's what it was. I fucking missed her, mate. Honestly. And I come back. I lasted out there a few weeks, yeah, and I come back, and I thought, I just thought I can't run no more. You know what I mean? And I came home. And I was sat there one night, and I just knew, I don't know what it was. I couldn't sleep that night. I remember it was the 19th of October, 2006. Yeah. And I literally, you just got a weird feeling. And I just knew, I said it to my missus. I said, I couldn't sleep. And I remember I was smoking hash them times. Yeah. And I fucking could not sleep, man. And I was like, I was looking out the window and all that. And I was thinking, something's not right, man. Yeah, you've got to get out of here, man. You've got to go. And then I end up, I fell asleep. I literally fell asleep. It was about 5 o'clock, and door come off at freaking about 5:15. I just remember hearing one loud bang. They must have used explosives on the door or something, because when they took me out of my house, my whole fucking front door was in pieces, mate. Literally, I'm not even kidding. The whole door. Yeah, and they come and they got me. Yeah, they come and got us, and then I got carted off to jail. Went for them banks there, and and then I got out. See, I was lucky because I got 3 years to run concurrent and 1 left on file. Yeah, so that's happened. I got out. I think I got out 18 months later, and literally I was only out of jail for 7 weeks, bruv. So I've come out of jail, This is when I was still at it. That didn't deter me. I still thought in my head that I had the one. I just got another strike. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking, I said, I'm all right. I'm all right. I can still get a big one. I'm okay. Yeah. This is how I was thinking back then. Yeah. I was thinking, like, yeah, I've got 3 years, 3 years. I got the robberies dropped to theft. Yeah. Because I admitted enough when they dropped the conspiracy to rob down to just theft, bank theft, because there was no violence. There was no violence. It was just shove and a push. You know what I mean? There was no violence involved. Yeah. So I only got done for theft. Yes. Which I was fucking, thank God I was such a lucky boy. Yeah. But because I only got done for the theft, I still had it in my brain that I've still got a tick. I can still carry on. And that's what it was, yeah. So I thought in my mind, yeah, I can still do this and get away with it. Exactly what I'm thinking, yeah.
You honestly believe it is a big one there, and you're going to get that big one.
Yeah, and that's what it was, mate. Honest to God, Joe. Yeah, and I was with it. Yeah, I come out of jail in 2000, and I think I come out in 2008. I weren't committing robberies at this stage. Yeah, I was just being a criminal, doing other shit. Yeah, and I was with my pal, and I've gone on the run. Basically, I've gone on the run because of my license and all that. And I've ended up having a police chase, bruv. Yeah, and I was getting chased all around London, getting helicopter police chase. It was the full Monty. Yeah, I've ended up coming up to Chiswick roundabout. It's must have been about 2 o'clock in the morning. I've come down the North Circular to Chiswick roundabout, but I'm doing about 120 mile an hour, mate. And I've managed to slow down to probably about 60. And as I've gone to the roundabout, a lorry's turning at the same time. So I've took the corner wide. I've hit the roundabout. Now the curb, there's about, I say, a good 2 foot curb there. That is a high curb that runs all the way around Chiswick roundabout, yeah. And I've hit that, and I've just flipped the car over. Boom, the car's rolled over. Big crash, mate. I end up fucking getting cut out of the car. Fire brigade cut me out of the fucking car and all that. I've been taken to hospital. Thank God I only had I busted my shoulder, dislocated shoulder, and a few cuts and bruises. End up going to prison. I've come out of jail about a year and a bit later or something like that. And I've ended up fucking going straight back into it. This time my missus had left me whilst I was in jail, my ex-missus. So I was like, I just didn't care anymore, mate. You know what I mean? I just didn't care. I thought, well, fuck it. It is what it is, isn't it? Like, I've got nothing to live for is what I was living like, innit? You know what I mean? And the only thing that, you know, it's a real dangerous road, that, innit, Joe? You know, when you feel like,
yeah, when you like that.
Yeah, when there's nothing to hold you anymore. You know what I mean? There's no reason to be good. There's no deterrent.
Prison didn't frighten you.
If anything, prison only made me hate the world that little bit more. Every time I went in there, I hated them a little bit more because I'd have altercations with govs. I'd end up having fights with inmates, and I just became more harder, more colder, and that's how I was. And that's through the system from a young age. All of that pain, all of that, it just makes you cold, and it makes you hard. It makes you horrible. It makes you hate people. Makes you not trust me. Heartless. It does, mate. Honestly. So then, obviously, I've come out of prison. 2009 now, yeah, and I was at it, yeah. I was at it. I won't say quite bad how bad I was, but I was at it, yeah. And I've ended up fucking. It just became a daily routine. That was the life. It was the way we lived. It literally, crime paid for everything. You know what I mean? And I had to live, and I wanted to be successful, and I wanted to be better at it. So it became a game. And I remember we was being followed by the flying squad one day, yeah. I was getting followed all the time, to be fair. But they followed me, yeah. And I was going to go out and commit crime this morning, bruv. Literally, I was actually going out to commit crime. And the only thing I didn't was because they made themselves obvious. They've got out their car and they started investigating one of a car that was there. And I seen he got out of a black cab. He never had his license on his neck. And I knew he was flying squad straight away. He had big cauliflower ears, like, you know, the fucking big broken noses, like big pieces. They stand out, you know what I mean? So I blocked it straight away. Me and my Cody were like, yep, that's Flyo. We know who they are. So we've abandoned. And that day, obviously, we were bored then. You know the feeling yourself.
Yeah.
The day's been ruined. We're bored now. You know what I mean?
You want to go and have a good time. Nothing scares you. You know, there's no boundaries on what you're capable of doing.
So what we did then, this is the no joke of it. So then we were like, yeah, well, we'll just lose them. We'll just lose them. And that was our attitude. We would like, yep, all right, sweet, we'll just smoke them. And we did. And we used to blow them out all the time, like literally, even the flying squad. And then obviously they knew that we knew we was being oboed. That's when they started putting bugs on the car, tracking up our fucking vehicles and all that. And then obviously they caught us. Yeah, they caught us. And then, yeah. But do you know what? I was sort of glad it was all over though. You know, when I got caught and I actually got nicked, yeah, and I was in my cell and I got my sentence. Even though when I got my sentence, yeah, I just felt,
like
you know, that.
Relief valve.
Yeah, it's over, man. And that is it. And that's exactly how it was. And that's another reason why I started doing these podcasts as well, you know, Joe, because it was another way of shutting that door on that criminal life, you know, because it's very, like you said earlier on, it's very easy for the bad side of us to pop into the picture very quick. It happens. It's only with self-control that we don't go back down that road. And that's not easy at times, man.
No, it's not easy.
Especially
triggers, you get triggers all the time. I still get triggers up to today, you know. If I'm going into town, if I go into town with my missus, we're going shopping, say for instance, and I see a security van pulling up, like my missus are going to the shop, and I'll actually stand there and watch the security van, and like my missus is like pulling me away, trying to pull me away. Come on. And
it's old habits die hard, isn't it? You know what I mean?
That's not you no more. That's not you no more. But I still today get them. I still get it. Not that I would go out and commit crime today because I'm too old and I haven't got another sentence in me, Anthony. But
definitely not. But you know what? The good thing with us lot though is because we understand that and we know that, and being the people that we are and the experience we have, as in criminal world, and now being able to to educate the younger generation about the fails that we've done. And then the thing is, a lot of crimes, see, the thing is, what they don't show in the movies is a lot of crimes are failed. Like, this is the thing, yeah, they show in the movies, oh yeah, he hits it every time he hits the big one. Yeah, no, it don't work like that. You've got a lot of failed crimes before you get that nice crime. And that's the thing people don't understand. Like, they think crime is just gonna be like, oh yeah, we're just gonna hit it up, we're gonna get paid, and it's not like, it doesn't work like that. It takes fucking years, it takes experience. Like, not the average criminal can just come up with, oh yeah, let's plate up a car, let's have multiple cars, you know what I'm saying? The protocol that we have to go through as a criminal, people don't use that, you know what I mean? And that's why a lot of people are in prison nowadays, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that it's good that we done what we did, but it's sort of, it's taught us to become better people, isn't it? You know what I mean? Obviously we've done a lot of bad things, but we can teach people how to be better as a whole, not committing crime, obviously, experience, telling them how bad it is. How much did it hurt you when you was in prison, bro? How much pain did you go through when you was in jail?
You know, it's not glamorous. What the kids think today is committing crime is glamorous, and like you have gold, you have nice cars, you have nice women, you have nice this and nice that. But you know, it all comes to an end, and it all comes to tears in the end.
It does. You lose more, didn't you?
You might not get caught today, and you might get away with a few jobs, but in the end, it catches up with you. And when you get these big, humongous sentences, like I got 12 years, and that
big sentence, stuff like that.
That sentence was designed to take me down, you know. And I went through so much on that sentence, you know, going from jail to jail, and I wasn't the one to settle down and quieten down. I was a live wire in there. So and I was being used by the officers as bait, really. They was giving me a hit list. They was giving me a hit list. They was telling me all the paedophiles were on the wing.
Yeah, same. Exactly. It
was in most, like the long termers, Whitemoor, Belmarsh. I was in Belmarsh in 1999 when Harold Shipman come in. He was in there. Charlie Cray was in there. He just got 12 years for conspiracy to supply Class A, which was a load of bullshit. They got a fingerprint.
Yeah, it's because he was the Cray's brothers, mate. That's why, isn't it?
David Fraser, Frankie Fraser's brother, was on there. Charlie, there was so much. But, you know, where I was young in there, Anthony, and I went in there as an escapee because I jumped the dock in London Crown Court, and I actually got out and escaped. So,
brilliant.
You know, I went in there and I was only 28, and these was all in their 50s and their 60s, So they was using it. I was being used even in jail as like, you know, he's
Yeah,
game,
they're violent, man.
he's staunch. You know, you can give him this piece of graft, and you know he's going to do it.
Yeah.
I, I went through so much in jail, and it wasn't until I got to the age of 42 on my last sentence I got recalled on 12 years, and I got another 3 years on top, and I was due out in 2010, and that was the last time. Yeah, that was the last time I've committed any crimes or took any drugs and got clean since 2010. But
It's a long time, bruv, man.
yeah,
It's a long time.
I got to the stage, and you know, I checked myself, and I looked in the mirror at myself, and I had a good chat with myself, and I said, look, listen, if you carry on with the way you're carrying on, it's inevitable you're going to get a life sentence, you know.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
you can stop it now and put it all to bed and change your life.
Yeah.
And when I come out of jail, and you know, I had many triggers, you know, because you know yourself, when you come out on the big sentences, you get all your old mates coming back round to you, thinking you're still the same person what you was before you went away.
Yeah, man.
And the opportunities what I got was unbelievable. But as luck had it, I met my missus on with today, Sam, very much like you, and I fell in love. And
Fixed everything.
I put my missus in front of all
everybody else.
Yeah, and I call them idiots now. They just did it. They ain't mates, you know. People who are coming around your house offering you like grams of coke and offer you like different bits of work. There's a wage snatch here. Is that they're not mates. They're not mates.
Do you know how I see it, yeah, Joe? Because I remember when I was younger, yeah. You see, when your mates are offering you a bit of graft, yeah, like the way I used to see it. Now I'd see it as they're trying to obviously help me, yeah, and I would see it as they're obviously trying to put a bit of money in my pocket. But then if I flip it around the other way and I think, well, obviously my mates are offering me a bit of graft because they know that man's about it and we'll get that graft done, so they're going to profit it as well. You know what I'm saying? That's where we all went wrong when we were younger. We always put our friends before our missuses. Now I've done exactly the same as you. I stopped putting my mates first. I put my wife first. As soon as I did that, my whole life changed.
Yeah. You know, when you fall in love, it's on a totally different level. And you start to look at life in a totally different angle, totally different ways. Like years ago, I wouldn't stop and think. I'll just act and do whatever. But now, everything in life, what I do now, Anthony, I'll stop and I think, and I look at the big picture. But you know, when it comes to the younger generation, there's not a lot of help out there for young generations now.
It's mad. That's why. To be fair, it's really good that when I was at this charity last week, yeah, Joey, yeah, there was a lot of young guys there, young kids of the age that are carrying weapons nowadays, and they were there. They were there mourning their friend that had passed away, and they were there celebrating his life as well. But obviously, it is getting out there. The more work we do, the more like. I don't know if you've been in contact with a guy called is it Safeguarding Life? I don't know if you've been heard of him. He's a Chinese fella.
I've heard of Safeguarding Life. Yeah, I've heard of that.
He's one of the guys that I've been talking to on there, and like he's got some great ideas about obviously helping people and trying to get our message out there. And obviously there's so many other people. Chris Lambiano, who you know yourself, he's doing exactly the same thing, speaking and trying to encourage everybody, and it's just getting it out there more. If we can get more of people like ourselves that can actually, because these young kids are only going to look up to us, lot. Like bank robbers, do you know? I know a lot of it nowadays is there's a lot of importers and drug dealers and big trappers and all that. I know the gang, and that's what they look up to and that's what they strive to be. But the more people that listen to the way we've handled things, it's only going to benefit them, mate. Because if they're not carrying a weapon, that means they're going to save lives. They're not going to end up stabbing anyone. They're not going to end up getting their fucking own life taken, or end up getting 20 years and slammed up in a jail cell for fucking couple of decades. You know what I mean? So it's important that
this is the frightening thing about it, Anthony, because they're so young. I mean, if you think about what you went through and what I went through, prison was a deterrent. So the way they're looking at it now, you know, if they get 10 years for doing this or they get 10 years for doing that, it don't make no difference. And all you're gonna do is gain a bigger reputation, get more friends, get more opportunities. We need more people like us to be spreading the word about, you know, of awareness and think there's not enough of us about, Anthony, to be honest with you. So
true, mate. It's true, and you know what it is. But time, the more we do this, there's loads of us doing this now. You've got Terry Ellis doing it. He's doing loads of things down there, your neck of the woods. You know what I mean? Like you've got loads. There's so many people doing it. You know, you've got fucking Ben Spann and his group, who's just fucking doing lots of stuff. You've got John Wedgenut out there doing loads of stuff. You've got freaking Karina Hutcheboat doing loads of stuff. You know what I mean? And it's like Rome weren't built in a week. You know what I mean? Everything takes time. So it is. It is going to happen. It's just a matter of time, you know what I mean? And the more we do what we're doing, yeah. And you know what it is like? I think I don't know. It's mad. My personal journey, yeah. The way I see things, yeah. It's I'm quite black and white. I see it. If it's not working, I fuck it off and I start the next thing. You know what I mean? And that's. But this here is not. This here is a long game, you know what I mean? You got to play this one out. It's like if trying to change people's perspective on things is important, mate. And the thing is as well, getting like I want our society to look at our criminals in a different way, because a lot of our criminals that are in the prison system right now are suffering major trauma, and hence they go out and commit crime, go out and take drugs, become alcoholics. You know what I mean? And this is important, like understanding criminals and putting more money into educating criminals and rehabilitating criminals is important, because bro, you know yourself, you spent loads of time in jail. The resettlement is a fucking joke.
The thing is that another thing what people got to realize is every time someone goes to jail, the government get paid an X amount of money to keep you in that jail.
Yeah, that's why the system, Joey, this is exactly what I mean, brother. This system is made to it's a great, if you think of it in business terms, yeah, their business model is perfect. Yeah, it's a self-sustaining business. Yeah, you get the kids when they're real young. Yeah, you take them off their family, you fuck that kid up. I'm not saying they do this, but this is what happened to me. Yeah, this kid comes out of the care system 10 to 15 years later, totally dysfunctional, doesn't know how to read and write, doesn't know how to pay bills, doesn't know how to fucking do anything. So he then turns to crime, which will happen. He will then go into the prison system, which is a part of the care system. It's just for bigger people and small cages. So then that kid then goes into the system. When he comes out of the prison system, he has sex with birds, yeah, has babies. The kids end up in the care system, and it's a big revolving circle, bruv, and it just turns itself. It is exactly, and that is what it is. It is a fucking money machine. And I say social services is a business, and their business is kids, mate. And that is exactly how I see it. It goes from the kids' homes to the fucking prisons to the mental establishment. It goes all the way through the board. Do you know what I mean? And I believe that. And I generally, there's so much money in the childcare. There's so much money in the prison system, in the mental health facilities. And the amount of abuse that is happening in these establishments is fucking insane, bro. This is no joke, yeah, Joey. I'll tell you a story. Yeah, I was 16 years old, yeah. Bear in mind, yeah, I'd already had a whole 13 years then, yeah, or 14, 15 years of utter chaos, yeah. I go to Feltham. I'm on J-Wing in Feltham. This is no word of a lie, yeah. I'm on J-Wing. Must have been around the 2001 time, yeah. 2001, 2000, that sort of year, yeah. I go on to J-Ring and I'm a very disturbed young kid, innit? Yeah. I've got a lot of fucking problems, mate. Honestly, when I sit back and I think about it, I was very, very, very disturbed young little kid, man. It's very sad, man. A member of staff has come to my door, a night staff now, yeah, not a daytime worker, a night staff, yeah. He's come to my door. You know when they used to turn the lights out? I think it was 10 o'clock on J-Ring.
Yeah.
That's when your lights out and your TV would go off, yeah, at this stage, yeah. So what had happened was this geezer's knocked on my fucking door, yeah, and he's whispering through my door, bruv. Like, you know, the crack in the door, he's whispering like, do you want a magazine? He's put a porno mag under my door, yeah. And I'm like, I've realized what he's doing, yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck do you mean I want a fucking porn? And obviously you can understand, kid has been fucked up his whole life. This shit's been going on. He's then put in jail, and a fucking prison officer is putting magazines under the door. I knew what the time was. I knew exactly what they were doing. What he wanted to do was catch man. Yeah, he wanted to catch man knocking one out, and that's exactly what I mean by these people get into the system. So it's not just in the care homes. You've got dirty fucking nonsense running around the care homes abusing kids and traumatizing kids. You've got them in the establishment, in the prison system, where they are violently beating up inmates. And this happens on a regular basis. And I'll tell you another story now, yeah. I tell you where I was in High Point, yeah, it's 2000.
Knife Point.
Yeah, Knife Point, brother. Yeah, this is no word of a lie. Yeah, I was in High Point. Yeah, and I got out of jail in 2015, but because I had a malicious ex-missus, I've ended up having an altercation with one of their friends, jumping out of a car with a hammer, tried to kill him. Yeah, end up getting locked up, end up ramming a police car. It's all in my other podcast. I'll explain it all on there. Yeah, but what has happened is I've ended up getting involved in all this fucking bullshit with my ex, and I've ended up going back to prison. Yeah, and I got locked up in 2016, and I got out in 2018. But what happened was I was in High Point, yeah, and I'm on a visit. Now, bear in mind, yeah, I've just met this woman, yeah, that I've craved for 30 years, mate. Yeah, and this is where I was in my life at this time, yeah. I've met this woman, and all I've wanted is to be a family. Yeah. So I've met this lady, and she's been amazing. Yeah. So I've ended up going to prison through other people. Yeah. So I'm in jail, yeah, Joe, and my head is fucked.
Shot to bits.
My head is literally, yeah, I'm scared my missus is going to leave me and I'm going to be on my own again. I'm lonely. I'm very depressed at this stage in my life, and I'm smoking drugs, yeah. And I can't stop smoking drugs because I don't want to think, don't want to feel. And I'm just worried I'm going to lose everybody, yeah.
Lots of pain out.
Yeah, to block the pain out, self-medicating, I call it, yeah. So then I'm on this visit now, and I'm on basic at the time, yeah, because I'm fucking getting into mischief, getting into trouble and fighting and that shit. So I'm on basic. My missus is driven all the way from London up to fucking High Point, which is fucking far. You know yourself, it's miles away.
Market.
Yeah, so they've tried to give me a fucking half an hour visit, yeah. And I'm like, and I remember this year, there was a ginger screw in there, the dog handler, yeah, a big ginger brer, yeah. So I'm on the visit now, and this fat, horrible fucking chick, yeah, this real horrible screw, yeah, big, horrible chick, yeah, right, horrible. Yeah, real nasty bird, yeah. She's like, Robert, your visit's done. And I said, fuck off, mate. You fuck off. I ain't moving. I said, listen, mate, yeah. I said, you got a lot of visitors in this room, and you don't want a fucking scene in front of all of them. Basically, is what I said. Now, fuck off, leave me to it, yeah. Anyway, 10 minutes have gone past. They've come back. This time, my missus is saying, please, babe, please. Anyway, this woman's tried to put her hand, she's gone to put her hand on my missus, yeah. I said to her, listen, mate, don't you fucking, because you are in trouble, innit, yeah. Didn't use them words. I was a bit more graphic, yeah, but she's got the picture. Next thing, the bell's gone. Bare screws have come to the visit. My missus said to me, Ants, just fuck it off. Go back into your wing. I'll see you next week. Yeah, I was like, all right, cool. So I gets up. Yeah, I go as soon as I walk into. You know, you've been into High Point on the visits, isn't it?
Yeah.
Come in, you go through that little bit, innit? Yeah, and then you come through there. Yeah. As soon as I got through there, I've seen this ginger geezer. Yeah, with his I've seen his arm. So I knew what he was trying to do. He's trying to choke me out. Yeah. So I've ducked him, and I've turned. I've moved to the side, and he fell on his arse. Yeah. Next thing, I've been jumped on by all the govs, yeah. Now this geezer, because he's so embarrassed that he's just dropped on his ass, and I've turned around saying, "What are you doing down there, you mug?" Is the words I said, yeah. And he's obviously, I'm now on the floor. He's jumped on me and he started boxing me in my face, yeah. I had fucking two big shiners, yeah. So anyway, I get battered, yeah. I get dragged from the visits, carried from there to A Wing, which is about, I say it's a good, it must be a half a mile walk, innit? It's far. You know what I'm saying? So these 6 to 8 guys are carrying me, CNR dropping me, CNR, yeah. But they're pissed, innit? They've got me all the way from the visits, which is a fucking mission. They're all sweating, they're covered in sweat. I'm fighting with them all. We get outside my cell, the block's full, so they can't put me in the block here. So they bring me to my cell, yeah. Next thing, I'm fighting with them on the landing, and I've managed to. They started taking all my stuff out of my cell, yeah. And obviously I had my phone, my mobile phone was up my ass at the time, yeah. But my charger was in there, was in my cell, yeah. And they started removing all my shit from myself. So I started flipping out, yeah. Bear in mind, I'm cuffed up, yeah. And I've got all these screws trying to fucking hurt me and hold me down. So I'm stepping over their legs, and I've managed to wrap my leg around one of their legs and drop, yeah. And one of the screws broke his wrist, yeah. Whilst he fell over, yeah. So what he's done is he fucking, you know when they got your handcuffs behind your back, and then they put the handcuff and then they lean on it, and it made a pain I felt.
Trying to break the wrist.
He fucking done it, mate. He didn't break it completely, but when I say I couldn't feel my fingers, it really badly hurt me, man. I wasn't allowed to see a doctor for a week. They did not let me see a doctor for a whole fucking week, mate. Honest to God. Imagine that. I wasn't allowed to see a doctor or nothing, mate, until my bruises were gone, and then I could go and see the doctor. Yeah.
But did you speak to your girlfriend like after this happened? And what did your girlfriend think about it?
Yeah, my missus knows, because I've got another path of this shit has been going on for years. Like when I start flipping out, it's just she's used to me getting bruises. Do you know what I mean? She's like, it's just one of them things. But obviously she doesn't like that behavior, you know what I mean? But if it weren't for my missus, I would have done another fucking year and a half in jail. Like all the stuff they did, like the probation, like they just made me sound as worse as they could. And I was manageable in the community. And I've done 15 months in jail at that stage, and they let me out, thank God. And I've been free of crime ever since, thank God, mate. But it just goes to show that the prison system's full of violence, and it's not just the inmates that are violent; it's also the governors as well.
But
And
I remember doing a youth custody when I was 17 or 18, and I was in the Mount before it turned to an adult jail. It was young offenders. I was on is it Fowler or Bristol or something like that on one of the wings?
Yeah, you've got Bristol, Fowler, you've got Ellis, you've got what's the other ones? Dixon, Davis. There's a few wings there, aren't they?
So I was only skinny as a kid. I'm still skinny now, but I was only skinny as a kid, and I was only small. But I was a bit of a leery one, and I was game. And I don't know, a bit of an altercation with the officer out on the landing. He was only a little guy. He was only like 5'2" or 5'3", a little Scottish guy, and he was getting a bit leery to me. And I said to him, "Go on." I said, "I'll punch you in, piss off," like type of thing. And he said to me, he said, "All right." He said, "If that's how you want to play it, so get in the cell." And
we'll have a straightener.
Yeah, he took his shoulders off. He come in that cell and he had a straightener with me, and he actually got the better of me.
Yeah, sit there. But you know what? Credit to that guy. Like that's a good screw, that one there, man.
Exactly. They're not like that now. You don't get them like that, and
they're not like that at all nowadays. They're all pussies, most of them, bruv. To be fair, don't get me wrong. You got a couple of the old screw ones. The old school screws were decent, man. Because you know what, like I remember having straighteners, and the govs knew that man was having a straightener, and they just crack on, just don't use weapons. You know what I mean? Don't be cutting people. And when the nonces used to come in on the wing, they used to tell us straight away, mate. Like I remember we used to give it to him on the fucking, which obviously I don't condone now, obviously, because I wouldn't be in that situation. And I know violence is violence, but back in the day, that was the best way of. That's how I dealt with them in jail, mate. And when the govs used to tell us, we used to fucking give it to them, and it felt good. I loved it.
Exactly. Yeah, it does. You said you.
But the only reason I loved it, Joe, and I'll be honest with you, is because it was giving me power back that got taken off me from when I was a very young boy. You know what I mean? And I understand that later on now, but at the time, it's another way of releasing that tension and that anger. And on someone that hurts a little kid, releasing anger was a good thing at that stage in my life. You know?
Yeah, because you was hurt yourself as a little kid, so.
Yeah, big time. And hurting someone that hurts kids it's not a crime, really, is it? You know what I mean? If someone hurts a kid and they get hurt, it is what it is, mate.
There's no cure. There's no cure for it. And when they go to prison, they're not actually classed as prisoners. They're classed as patients, and they get the best of everything in there. So
I can't understand that.
I've got a slightly different issue on it. I do condemn it. And I do agree with inmates attacking paedophiles and attacking nonces, because that's what they deserve. I'm sorry, but
they do. No. Do you know what? I'm not going to lie. Yeah, prisoner justice is prisoner's justice. No, I got abused badly as a kid. Yeah, and the only reason why I ain't condoning violence now is because obviously I'm now training to be a therapist, and I can't on record be saying I think people should be getting battered, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I do think there is not enough justice for what happens. So these people, and like, look, you've got to bear in mind, you've got a lot of guys in jail and girls in jail, that have suffered from this type of stuff, man. So when when they're confronted with someone that's done these sort of things, it brings back traumatic memories, so then they act violent. And it is what it is, mate. And I do, like, I'm not going to lie, mate, yeah. When I was in prison, there was this one paedophile guy, And I never felt guilty for what I'd done to him, and I felt bloody proud of myself. And to this day, I had the SO of the wing, yeah, tap me on the back and say, "Well done, Roberts, mate." That's the number one glove on the wing, mate. I can't say the name or nothing, but mate, and I had all the gloves. They loved us for it. They did. Because they're no different to us, bro. You know, like, who wants their child to be molested do you know what I mean? And then the thing is, this is what fucking does my head in about these dirty fucking people, yeah? And this is the truth, mate, yeah? Like, these little fucking dirty cunts, yeah? This is what happens, yeah? You go, like, I was in Dovegate, yeah? I went to Dovegate, yeah? Because I got abused. Yeah, so you went Dovegate as well. See it there?
I was the second person in there when it opened up in year 2000.
See it there? Fucking hell, get in there, Joe. I didn't know you'd be in Dovegate. Yeah, I was on Camelot wing there, bro.
I was working in the pallet shop making pallets.
Fucking hell, man. Yeah, I was in there, mate. Honest to God, yeah. I went to Dovegate, yeah.
One, you got the twos on each spur, and you got the office right in the middle, the electric door.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird old jail. You've got key to the door and all that. It's mad. You've got a shower in the cell. And you know what it was, yeah? I'll be honest with you. This is exactly what it was.
Money.
Yeah.
Money.
Yeah. 2 canteens a week. It was mad. It was. I used to love the jail. I'm not going to lie. The only thing I didn't like about it was the fucking stories that I was hearing and the people that I interacted with. But I went there to try and fix myself, yeah, because I was a broken man I had so many issues, man. I generally went there to fix myself, yeah. And I went there, and I sat there, and I just felt so sick and tired of hearing mad shit, bro. I just had to. I couldn't take it no more. I was like, I'm out of here, mate. And I left. I ended up going to the Mount. But that place is fucked up, man. Fucked. The stories you hear about, it's bad. You need therapy coming out of a place like that.
Exactly. It traumatizes you, doesn't it?
And things you hear in there, mate. Honestly.
Of course.
Yeah, bro.
You couldn't even start to explain to the outside world what we see in them.
That's right, but you know, that's another reason why.
Yeah.
Sorry, say that again. You cracked up there a bit, bro.
This won't get believed.
It's mad. People wouldn't believe the crazy things that they hear in there, mate. Honestly,
sorry, mate, the camera completely lagged, but we've come back.
You there now?
So today, Anthony.
Yeah, brother.
Yep. Can you hear me?
I can now. Yeah.
Can you hear me now, Ant?
No, I can now. Yeah, bro.
Right, so we was talking about like inmates. Like we was talking about prison inmates. We was talking about paedophiles and things like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, moving on with the interview, Anthony. So at what year did you come out of jail?
Yeah.
And what made you want to change?
What made me change? I'll tell you. The last time I committed a robbery was 2011. Was actually my victim that made me change. Reading her impact statement is what made me completely stop crime. Completely. The reason why I stopped was because obviously going through what I went through as a young kid and a young child, through all the abuse and the trauma. When she got robbed, she got turned over. She thought she was going to be abused, which makes me sick to even think that I made a person feel like that. But at the same time, I totally understood her.
She was out of control.
Yeah,
she didn't know what was going to happen. So I can understand how it made you feel.
Yeah. And I swear to God, Jerry, on my life, mate, I just understood her and I felt sick, mate. Like, the best way to explain it, is, when say you get up in the morning, you're walking downstairs for your cup of tea and your son jumps out and goes, rah! And you shit your pants, literally. Fuck, you throw your tea up in it. That is the feeling. Shock. That is how I felt through her impact statement. And it made me not want to ever be like that again. Because the fact that I mean, it's powerful, isn't it? It's mad.
Yes, that's great that you use that to your advantage to make you realise that there's so many victims and you put the victims through so much, at that time you don't see victims, you don't see what you're putting them through. And it's not till later on in life when we're all square and You know, we're trying to do good things, that we think about what we put our victims through. I still suffer today with PTSD, and I still talk to my missus now about my victims, and I hope they're all right and things like that.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm trying to spread, like, the good word about, and trying to get the message out, you know, to try and help the younger generation, because they should look at people like me and you as a deterrent, you know.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Look, I've got all the fucking bits of my body missing. I've got ears bits are missing. I've got fucking scars all over my face. It's been a painful life, mate. You know what I'm saying? We are. You know what I mean? Exactly. And it just goes to show, like, you're a bit older than me, Joe, brother, and you've experienced exactly the same. I've gone through exactly the same shit you've gone through. So it doesn't matter how old you are or what year you are in the planet. Yeah. If you go down this road, you're gonna lose, and it's gonna hurt, mate. More than you're going to gain. I'm not going to say there are obviously some people out there that, you know what I mean? Yeah, you lose more than you gain, didn't you?
Well, I'm glad you've actually got to the point in your life where you've actually turned your back on it now, Anthony. You've got your missus, you've got your kids, you've got a lovely family support network around you, and now you're trying to help others what went through the same things as what we went through. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're going to wrap this one up, Anthony.
Yeah, mate.
Do you know what, mate? It's been so inspiring, your story. You know, you're such a role model now. I hope you realise how much of a role model you really are now. Unlike years ago.
I'm trying, mate. I'm trying.
Unlike years ago, the pair of us, you know, was bang at it, and
you know, it takes
back into the community what we taken out of it years ago.
That's it.
And it makes you feel so good inside to just give a little bit back, you know, and help. If we can just help one person,
it makes a difference.
It makes a big difference in your life. Do you know what I mean, Anthony? But yeah, you know, I can't thank you enough for this interview, Anthony.
No problem, brother. No problem, man. Well, if you need me back, give me a shout. You got my number, bro.
We're gonna be friends for life now. We've gelled together. We've clicked together. I've got lots of new things coming up, Anthony. What I'm going to get you involved with.
Brilliant.
I'm going over to a young offenders called YRS prison.
Yeah,
I'm going into there within the next 6 weeks as a motivational speaker with a good friend of mine, and I'll be talking to you about like things like this, going to different charities and doing different talks, and you know, going into schools, youth clubs. You've been on Lad Bible too, haven't you?
I have, yeah. I was on Lad Bible 2 weeks ago, I believe. I've done a few podcasts as well, being on Sure That with like yourself, so I'm just basically trying to just keep going now, keep getting our message out there, and just, you know what I mean, just keep at it, and hopefully things will be good now. Yeah, I've got my book coming out hopefully summertime. It's not quite there yet, but we're getting there. But other than that, we're just trying to keep it going, man. Keep it going. Try and get our word out there. Help as many people as we can. I was going to say before we just shut off as well is if you can get your viewers to have a look at Ignite Trust in Harrow. They are brilliant. You've got there's a youth centre out there. You got Michael, one of the managers in there, absolutely brilliant geezer, doing great things for the guys and all the gangs, and they're doing marvelous work, man. Check them out, look them up, and if you're in the Harrow area or in that sort of borough around that area, their doors are open. Pop in. They've got boxing facilities, they've got gymnasium, they've got education, they've got people that you can talk to if you need a chat, if you've got things that are going wrong for you in your life and you're feeling down. They've got facilities and people there to help you, especially for young girls as well. Young girls are going through a lot of shit in their lives. They've got a team there that are especially trained for girls, which is great, you know. And just trying to do positive stuff, mate, and trying to help that younger lot. Anyone really that needs help. If we're here if we can help people, we can help people. If we can't, then we'll still try. You know what I mean?
We need more people like us about in the community. That's what it is.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. Well, that's it. Yeah, that's the only thing that brings about change, isn't it? Is the more people that hear our voices, the more people have to listen.
Of course, I mean, and if people like me and you can change, then anyone can change.
Yes, definitely. Then anyone can. Yeah.
You know, I was myself. I was a prolific armed robber. I actually become addicted to doing armed robberies, not drugs, but addiction to doing armed robberies. So if I can change, you can change, we can all change.
It's the adrenaline rush, isn't it? That's what I used to seek back in the day, bro. It was literally the whole thing, doing it, getting away with it, and spending the money. Crazy.
Nowadays, Anthony, I'd rather see a lovely smile on my wife, on my missus's
Oh,
face.
definitely. What I would rather do than go, mate. There's the pressure that comes with crime is unbelievable, and this is the thing that the young criminals of today don't actually underestimate. They actually don't understand how bad it can get. Like, you can do a crime and then you sit there and panic and worry about that crime. Because believe me, if they get evidence to come for you, they will come for you. Do you know what I mean? And then you've got to worry about friends that are jealous. You got to worry about people that are spying on you. They think you've just had a good turnout, so they want a bit of that as well. It's not fucking. It's not an easy.
They're not your friends. You think they're friends, but they're not your friends.
Well, that's it, you know. But what I try to do as well is mostly let all these little youngster gangsters, just to know that this world ain't as clear cut as everyone thinks it. You know what I mean? The police ain't gonna do and abide by the rules. They will lock you up in any way they can. You're gonna have people out there, people that you know that are hating on you, and that are like, if you're an active criminal and they know you're active things, they're gonna get jealous and envious, and that shit's gonna cause trouble. It's just best not go down that road, man.
And also, like, when you do go to jail, like at the end of it all, because it does all end up in prison. It ends up in tears. But it doesn't matter if you're the hardest man on the planet and you're bare knuckle fighter, you've got all ammunition. It doesn't matter what you've got outside. There's always someone bigger and better in jail what will take you out on purpose. And that's the reason why nowadays, you know, people like me and you, if we go to jail now, we get targeted by the younger generation.
They probably would as well.
Take him out and one step up the ladder further. Exactly. But listen, Andy, it's been absolutely great talking to you, mate. It's an amazing interview. We're friends for life. I've got lots of love for you, mate. I've got lots of support for you. If you ever need anything from me, you know, just ring me up and I'll be there with you all the way, mate. And
top man. Thanks very much, bro. You too, man.
Thanks everyone for watching this video. Please don't forget to share and subscribe. We're doing great things. We're trying to help everyone out, and you know.
Yeah, man.
Definitely. I'm going to be doing a podcast every other day. So putting the work in, putting the hours in for deterrent, you know, and just to try and help the younger generation out. But Anthony, you're an amazing, aspiring man, and I'm so glad you've met your girlfriend, you're in love, and you've finally seen the light. And you're still young. You're still young. It's not too late to rectify your life and to repair things and build new roads, open new doors, and the world is now your oyster.
That's it, mate. That's it. It's true. Very true, man. Very true, bro.
Please don't forget and you, please don't forget to share, subscribe, and thank you very much for watching our story. And that's Anthony Roberts himself.
Cheers, mate. Take care, guys. I enjoyed. Speak to you later, brother.
Well, I've ended the broadcast now. Let's see if it's ended. Wow. Wow. That was a brilliant broadcast, wasn't it?